Picture this. Saturday morning. You're on your knees in your own kitchen, wrench in hand, replacing a faucet, the third thing you've fixed this week. The tile under your knees? You laid that yourself. The cabinets behind you? Sanded, stained, hung. 26 years of building this house into a home with your own two hands. Your wife walks in, phone against her ear, and says, not whispers, says, Steve called. He says I could do better than this. She waves her hand at the kitchen. Your kitchen, the one you just retiled. Your wrench slips. You look up at her. She's already walking away. That was my kitchen, my wife, my Saturday morning. My name is Mason Hayes, and that's the moment I realized I'd been building a house for someone who was shopping for a different one. I'm 54, own a plumbing supply business in Tulsa, Hayes & Sons, even though it's just me. 26 years married to Melissa. I show love the only way I know how. I build. I fix. I show up. That kitchen she waved at? 3 weekends. Didn't ask for thanks. Didn't expect a parade. But I didn't expect her to use it as evidence against me either. Who's Steve? I ask when she comes back for her coffee. Steve Wood. From high school. We reconnected at the reunion. She says it like she's telling me the weather. And he's reviewing our kitchen now. He's just being honest, Mason. Something you could learn. I look at the wrench in my hand. Then at her. She's scrolling her phone, already somewhere else. There was a time, maybe 15 years ago, when she'd sit on the counter while I worked, legs swinging, handing me tools she couldn't name. She called me her fixer. Said it like it meant something. Here's what I didn't know yet. Steve Wood wasn't just some high school memory. He was a recently divorced real estate agent who'd been texting my wife for 3 months, telling her she settled, telling her she deserved more. And Melissa was listening, not just to Steve. She'd found an online women's forum, the kind where strangers who've never met your husband coach you through boundaries that are actually walls. Her coworker Donnie Peterson had pointed her to it. Donnie, who'd been through 2 divorces herself and wore them like medals. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Tuesday evening. I come home from the shop. Hey, Mel. Smile. Normal greeting. She looks up from her phone and smiles back. Hey, there's leftovers. Wednesday evening. Same door. Same hey, Mel. She doesn't look up. Doesn't answer. I stand there holding my keys like a stranger. Everything okay? I'm fine, Mason. You seem. I said I'm fine. Thursday. I come home. Try a different approach. Don't say anything. Just head to the kitchen. Start pulling out pots. She appears in the doorway. You're not even going to say hello? I didn't want to bother you. So now you're punishing me with silence? I stopped chopping. Melissa, yesterday you didn't speak to me for 3 hours when I walked in. Today you're upset I didn't talk first? That's completely different. It wasn't different. It was a pattern. 3 different days, the same greeting, 3 completely different reactions. I started doing something I'd never done in 26 years of marriage. Checking her face before I opened my mouth. Reading the room before I said hello in my own house. I used to walk through that door like I lived there. Now I walk in like I'm visiting someone. 2 weeks later. Sunday morning. I'm in the garage, and I hear her on speakerphone in the living room. She thinks I'm at the hardware store. 26 years, a woman's voice says. If he hasn't changed by now, he won't. You deserve a fresh chapter, Melissa. Another voice. Is Steve still single? Melissa laughs. Not a mean laugh. Worse, a hopeful one. I stand there, motor oil on my fingers, and something shifts inside me. Not anger. Not yet. Something colder. The realization that my wife is crowdsourcing the end of our marriage with strangers who don't know my name. I don't confront her. Here's why. 2 months ago, I tried to talk about us. Sat her down, said I felt like we were drifting. She looked at me with this patient, slightly annoyed expression, like I was a dog that had tracked mud on her clean floor, and said, Mason, intimacy isn't the most important thing in life. Stop being so needy. Then, a week later, when I stopped reaching for her hand on the couch, stopped pulling her close in bed. Why are you being so cold? What happened to you? You know that feeling when someone moves the goalposts so fast you can't even remember where they started? That's every conversation in my house now. So I don't confront. I can't build on ground that shifts every day. The overlook off the highway. 2 a.m. Tulsa spread out below, all those lights, and my phone in my hand, scrolling through contacts. Nobody to call. I sit there until the dashboard clock ticks past the hour, engine off, window cracked, the whole city humming below me like it has somewhere to be. I don't. Then I call Larry Adams. My oldest friend. Known him since before Melissa. It's 2 in the morning, Mason. I know. Long pause. Larry's good at those. How bad? I need a lawyer. Dean Coleman. I'll send you his number first thing. Monday. Dean's office. Sharp eyes, no small talk. He flips through the paperwork I brought. Receipts, tax returns, renovation logs going back 2 decades. You own the business outright? Built it from nothing. House. My name. Paid off. I did every renovation myself and documented all of it. Dean nods slowly. Tell me about Steve. I tell him. He listens. Then he says, I want to bring in someone. Whitney Reynolds. Private investigator. Discreet. I'm not spying on my wife. You're not spying. You're documenting a pattern she's already publishing to the internet. There's a difference. Fair point. Whitney starts that week. Meanwhile, my marriage keeps doing what it's been doing, cycling. 2 days after I hired Dean, Melissa comes home with a bag from the store I like. Sets it on the counter. Smiles. I got those steaks you love. The thick-cut ones from that butcher on Riverside. I look at her. She's being sweet. Genuinely sweet. The way she used to be when sweet was her default, not a weather pattern. She even pours 2 glasses of wine. Sits at the table while I cook. Asks me about the shop. Mel, this is nice. I know I've been. I know things have been weird. She reaches across the table. Touches my hand. I'm sorry. I don't say that enough. For about 45 minutes, I believe her. 45 minutes where I think maybe the forum is just venting, maybe Steve is just old history, maybe my wife is still in there somewhere behind whatever wall she's been building. We eat dinner. She laughs at something I say. I feel the knot in my chest loosen for the first time in weeks. Then her phone buzzes. She glances at it. Her expression doesn't change, but her posture does. Just slightly. A pulling in, like someone closing a window. Who's that? Nobody. Mel. It's Donnie. Work stuff. I let it go. We finish dinner. I wash the dishes. She goes to the bedroom. The next morning, she schedules a parent-teacher conference for our nephew. Melissa volunteers at his school, without telling me. Goes alone. When I ask about it that evening, she shrugs. It wasn't a big deal, Mason. Not everything requires both of us. You used to tell me about those things. I used to do a lot of things. And just like that, the sweet version is gone. Replaced by the one who looks through me like I'm a window she's already seen the view from. Stay with me here, because it gets worse. Thursday afternoon. Larry's at the boxing gym. I'd started going again after years away. Needed somewhere to put whatever was building in my chest, and he pulls me aside after a round. You know Savannah Washington? 2 streets over. The teacher. She's on that forum. Recognized Melissa's stories. Your stories, Mason. Your marriage. Posted under her middle name. But Savannah isn't stupid. He shows me the screenshot. She thought I should know. I read 3 months of posts standing in a boxing gym that smells like rubber and tape. Our first vacation argument. The night she told me she didn't want to be touched, and I slept on the couch, described in detail for strangers. Our finances. Our bedroom. 26 years of marriage sliced into complaint threads like deli meat. One post stops me cold. Title. He fixed the whole kitchen and thinks that means something. 412 comments underneath. Most of them agreeing with her. I read it twice. Then I wrap my hands tighter and hit the bag until Larry tells me to stop. Here's the thing about being a builder. When you look at a structure and see it's beyond repair, rotted studs, cracked foundation, water damage behind every wall, you don't keep patching. You don't pretend a coat of paint will fix what's structural. You accept the loss, pull the permits, and start drafting plans for something new. Whitney documents everything. Forum posts, archived with timestamps. Meetings with Steve, dates, locations, durations. Financial moves. Melissa had started shifting money from our joint savings into an account I'd never seen. Small amounts, regular, like she was building an exit ramp she thought I couldn't see. Things accelerate. Melissa starts meeting Steve for coffee. Then dinners. We were friends for years, Mason. You're being controlling. I didn't say anything about controlling. Your face says it. My face is tired, Melissa. There's a difference. One evening, I'm in the living room when she comes downstairs ready for dinner, dressed up, perfume, the works. I'm going out with Donnie. Donnie, girls' night. 2 hours later, Whitney texts me a photo. Melissa and Steve at a corner table at a restaurant downtown. Donnie is nowhere. I don't react. I just stare at my own living room, the built-in shelves I installed, the mantel I carved, and think. She's having dinner with another man in a city I've been pouring concrete into for 26 years, and she told me it was girls' night. The lie was so casual, it was almost impressive. The next Sunday, she tries again. Wakes up early, makes pancakes, brings me coffee in the garage while I'm organizing shelves. I was thinking we could drive out to the lake, like we used to. What happened to Steve? Her face flickers. Just a flash, guilt, maybe, or annoyance that I ruined the moment. Steve is a friend, Mason. That's all. And the forum where you posted our bedroom details to 400 strangers? Those friends too? Silence. Her jaw tightens. Who told you about the forum? Does it matter? You published it. She sets the coffee down hard enough to slosh. You know what, Mason? You sit in this garage with your tools and your projects and your receipts, and you think that's a marriage. It's not. I need someone who actually talks to me, who sees me. I built you a reading nook because you mentioned it once. Once, Melissa. 3 years ago. And I remembered. That's just a nook, Mason. No. That's attention. You just don't recognize it when it doesn't come with words. She walks out. Slams the door. The coffee she brought me sits on the shelf, getting cold. July. The neighborhood barbecue. Middle of that heat wave scorching half the country. TSA working unpaid, airports a mess, and Tulsa sitting at 104 in the shade. Everyone's fanning themselves, cold beers sweating on patio tables. I'm at the grill because I'm always at the grill. Melissa walks up with Donnie and Steve, all three holding wine glasses like they're at a gallery opening. This is my husband, she says to Morgan Reed's wife. Pauses. Adds, for now. She laughs. Donnie laughs. Steve studies his shoes. I flip a burger. Melissa, you want cheese on yours? See, she tells Donnie, loud enough for the whole patio. He fixed the whole kitchen and thinks that means something. There it is. Her 400-comment headline, performed live. Morgan Reed catches my eye from across the yard. I give him a small shrug. Inside, something locks into place. Not breaking. Building. I'm done patching. Time for new plans. Monday after the barbecue, Dean's office. Move forward. Everything. Dean nods. Whitney has enough. We file when you say. That week, something changes in me. Not a decision. More like a faucet that's been dripping for months finally runs dry. I stop trying. Not a strategy. I just don't have it in me anymore. Tuesday she comes home. I'm reading in the living room. She walks past. I don't look up. How was your day? She asks from the kitchen. Fine. That's it. That's it. She stands in the doorway. I can feel her studying me, trying to find the old Mason, the one who'd ask about her lunch, her drive, her plans for the weekend. The one who filled silence because he thought silence was his job. Are you okay? She asks. I'm fine, Melissa. She doesn't recognize those words when they come from me instead of her. Thursday. She calls me at the shop. First time in months. I was thinking about Saturday. Maybe we could go to that farmer's market in Brookside? Like we used to? I've got plans. What plans? Gym. Then some errands. Pause. You never used to have plans on Saturdays. I never used to need them. She lets that land. I hear her breathing on the other end of the line. Then, quietly, I feel like you're disappearing. Now you know what it feels like. I don't say it to hurt her. It just comes out, honest, flat, exhausted. The line goes quiet for a long time before she hangs up. Saturday, she tries something different. She shows up at the boxing gym. I'm wrapping my hands when I see her in the doorway, out of place in her linen jacket and sandals, surrounded by heavy bags and chalk dust. Can we talk? I'm about to spar. Mason, please. 5 minutes. We sit on the bench outside. She twists her wedding ring, a habit she has when she's nervous. I haven't seen it in years. I've been reading articles, she says, about communication, about how couples drift. I think maybe we both contributed to. Did the forum tell you to say that? Her mouth opens, closes, because last week you posted that I'm emotionally unavailable and that Steve actually listens. I read that one too. How do you? It doesn't matter how. What matters is you went from a steak dinner, and I'm sorry, to telling strangers our marriage is my fault, all in the same week. So which version am I talking to right now, Melissa? The one who wants to fix this, or the one who's writing my eulogy for an audience? She stands up. Her eyes are wet. You've changed, Mason. No, I just stopped performing for someone who was reviewing me for strangers. She walks to her car. Doesn't look back. I watch her pull out of the parking lot, and I feel nothing. That's the part that scares me. Not the anger, not the hurt. The nothing. The empty tank. 26 years of fuel, and the gauge finally hit zero. 3 weeks later, Wednesday night sparring at the gym, I feel something pop in my shoulder. The kind of pop that comes with a sound you hear through your whole skeleton. Doctor says torn rotator cuff. Surgery. 3 months recovery. I call Melissa from the hospital. That's what happens at your age, she says. No, are you okay? No, I'm coming. Just age, delivered like a verdict. She doesn't visit. Not that night, not the next morning. Evan Clark, a guy from the gym I barely know, drives me home from surgery. A near stranger shows more care than my wife of 26 years. That evening, arm in a sling, I open my phone. Melissa has posted a photo. Dinner with Steve. White tablecloth. Candles. Her smile, the one she used to give me, back when that smile was mine. Caption: sometimes you need to remember what happiness feels like. I'm in the guest room. Sling digging into my neck. Phone screen glowing in the dark. My wife is at a candlelit dinner with another man while I recover from surgery alone. She posted it like a graduation announcement. I set the phone on the nightstand. Lie there listening to the house. Every wall, every floor, every joint. I know each one by the sound it makes when the temperature drops. The house settles at night, and it sounds like someone walking very slowly through rooms they used to share. She comes home at 1 a.m. I hear her heels in the hallway. She stops at the guest room door. Opens it a crack. You're awake. Hard to sleep after surgery. She stands there. I can see her silhouette in the hallway light. Do you need anything? I needed you at the hospital. That was 12 hours ago. The door closes softly. No argument. No excuse. Just the click of the latch and her footsteps moving down the hall to the master bedroom. The one with the door frame I replaced last winter because it warped in the cold. The next few days, she hovers. Not out of guilt exactly. More like a cat that knocked a glass off the counter and is now watching the pieces. She leaves soup on the counter. Asks if I need painkillers. Straightens the pillows in the guest room when she thinks I'm not looking. I can drive you to your follow-up appointment, she offers on Thursday. Evan's taking me. The gym guy? The gym guy who drove me home from surgery. Yes. Her face does something complicated. Mason, I know I should have been there. You were having dinner with Steve. I saw the photo. That was already planned before. Melissa. I hold up my good hand. Stop. Every time you explain, it gets worse. Just stop. She stops. For 3 days she's quiet. Not the cold silence she uses as punishment, but something else. A silence that has weight to it, like she's sitting inside the shape of what she's done and finally feeling the walls. I almost believe it. Almost. Then Monday, I hear her in the kitchen on the phone. Low voice, but the house carries sound. I know every echo in these walls. No, he's being ridiculous. It's a shoulder, not cancer. And now he has that gym friend driving him around like I don't exist. No, Steve, I'm handling it. I close my eyes in the guest room. There it is. The sweet version lasted 4 days this time. A new personal record. Here's where the story takes a turn she didn't see coming. Since the barbecue, 2 months, Dean has been building a case that makes my kitchen renovation look like a weekend hobby. Whitney's documentation is surgical. Every forum post archived with metadata. Every dinner with Steve logged. Dates, times, restaurant names. The secret bank account, traced to the penny. And my 26 years of receipts, renovation photos, and tax records organized into a timeline that tells one story. I built everything. She dismantled it in public while shopping for a replacement. She thought I was the same man checking her mood at the front door. She had no idea I'd stopped checking months ago. Friday night, 2 weeks after surgery, 11 p.m. I hear the front door. Keys on the hook. Heels on the floor. I refinished. Mason, you still up? Kitchen table. Coffee half cold. Good arm resting on the surface, bad one in the sling. A manila folder in front of me. She walks in. Dinner clothes. Wine on her breath. A cologne that isn't mine somewhere in the air between us. I was with Steve. Not ashamed. Matter of fact, like reporting a schedule update. We've been talking about this for a while now. He thinks, we both think, a trial separation would be good for us. Steve thinks. I think too, Mason. I'm not just repeating what he says. Since when? Since I realized this marriage hasn't been a partnership in years. You build things, Mason. That's all you do. You build and you fix and you think that's enough. It's not. I need more than a handyman. Handyman. 26 years, and that's the word she picks. I look at her. Really look. She's standing in a kitchen I rebuilt from the studs, wearing a dress she bought with money from a business I grew from zero, about to leave through a door I hung on hinges I replaced last spring. And she doesn't see any of it as love. Not one nail. Not 1 hour. Not one Saturday on my knees in grout, thinking of her while I worked. You want to know something? My voice is steady, calm in a way that makes her blink. I fixed that faucet the morning Steve told you that you could do better. I retiled this floor the week you started posting our marriage online. I replaced the back deck railing the same month you opened a bank account you thought I didn't know about. The color shifts in her face. Every single time you pulled further away, I built something. Not because I thought it would fix us. Because building is how I love. And you looked at everything I made and decided it meant nothing. Mason, you told 400 strangers that I fixed the kitchen and thought it meant something. I slide the folder across the table. Here. Your forum friends said get a lawyer. Take their advice. She opens it. Whitney's photographs, Steve at restaurants, in parking lots, at her car. Dean's financial report, the secret account, the transfers, the timeline. The legal filing, already submitted, already moving. And underneath all of it, printed and dated, every forum post. The bedroom ones. The money ones. The one about the kitchen. She reads the first page. Then the second. Her hands are shaking. How long? Since the barbecue. Since you said it to my face. Silence. The kind that weighs something. You feel it press against your ribs. Then she tries everything. Tears first. Real ones, I'll give her that. Streaming down her face while she holds the folder like a book she can't put down. You had someone following me. Anger, fast and sharp. Then bargaining. Her voice cracking on every word. We can fix this. I'll delete every post. I'll stop seeing Steve. I'll close the account. Mason, please. You posted our bedroom to the internet, Melissa. You introduced me as your husband for now, in front of our neighbors. You ate dinner with Steve while I was in a hospital bed, and when I told you about my shoulder, all you said was, that's what happens at your age. She closes her mouth, opens it, closes it again. Then something raw comes through, not a tactic, just a 51-year-old woman sitting in wreckage she built herself. I don't know when I stopped seeing you, she says. Her voice is small, stripped of every layer she'd been wearing for months. You were always here, always fixing something. And I just looked through you, like you were part of the house. I was part of the house, Melissa. I built it. I know. No, you don't. Because you spent 3 months telling strangers that building things doesn't mean something. And I spent 26 years proving it does. She stares at the forum post on top of the stack. Her own words looking back at her from a kitchen table her husband made level with shims and a carpenter's square. She doesn't have a response. People rarely do when they're holding a mirror they didn't ask for. What happens now, she whispers. Dean has everything. You'll hear from his office Monday. Is there anything? You said intimacy isn't the most important thing in life. Then you called me cold for believing you. I stand up. Chair scrapes the tile, my tile. You wanted independence from this marriage, Melissa. I'm giving it to you. All of it. I take my coffee cup to the sink. Rinse it one-handed. Set it on the rack. 26 years of muscle memory, even with one arm in a sling. The faucet works, I say, not turning around. In case anyone asks. Next morning. The gym. 6 a.m. Arm in a sling, so I work the bag left-handed. James Marsden on the mounted TV, talking about some new project. This sounds low, but the closed captions scroll by. Something about second acts. My phone buzzes on the bench. Melissa. Then Steve. Then Melissa again. I wrap my good hand. Tape pulls tight against the knuckles. Don't answer. Don't check. Just hit the bag, one-handed, steady, until the buzzing stops. Somewhere across Tulsa, in a kitchen I built from the studs out, the faucet I installed still runs perfectly. It always will. That's the thing about building something right. It doesn't stop working just because someone stopped noticing. Dear listeners, that's our ending. If it resonated, subscribe to support the channel. See you next time.